What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Put 'em on a Poster podcast. If you're new to the channel, my name's Chandler, and let's get directly into the video today, man. So, in case you weren't paying too much attention to basketball this weekend, which, I mean, this is the best weekend to pay attention to basketball, in my opinion, but in case you weren't, it was All-Star weekend for the NBA, and man, that was amazing, dude. Like, I mean, you look around, and there was like there was a lot of the same events. You know, you had the celebrity game first. The Rising Stars game had a big big cheer. It's like way different. It wasn't just one single game. It was like a tournament style thing. I really like that a lot. I think it's really going to help the All-Star game in general. And then obviously you had the 3-point contest, which Damian Lillard won. 3-point contest makes sense. Damian Lillard was a bucket, dude. He's always been a bucket. I'm not surprised he got it. I low-key thought someone like Kevin Huerter might have snuck in and got it. You know, I mean, obviously, you look at some contestants like Julius Randle, there was no way he was winning. Like, you look at him compared to the rest of the competition, there was no way he was winning. But looking at the 3-point contest, I mean, there was a couple players that I thought maybe could have had a better chance. Obviously, didn't make it. Tyrese Halliburton went nuts in the first round, 31 points. He just went ice cold in the final, man. That's how it goes sometimes, and it sucks because if he did that in the second round, he would have won easily. And then obviously Buddy Hield came back, wanted to try to get himself another one, and ultimately lost in the long run. But good for Dame. That's a good accomplishment to have. I mean, you could say you were a 3-point champion for a little bit. So one other thing that happened was a dunk contest. Mac McClung, dude. Mac McClung is nuts. In case you don't know who Mac McClung is, he's like a G League player for the 76ers. He's just got called back up from the G League. He's an incredible dunker. I mean, you could go back and go at his highlight, or you could go back and look at his highlights. I used to watch his highlights when I was younger on like websites like Ball is Life, you know, just channels like that, man. Like Ball is Life used to show recordings or like go to his games just to record him to see what he was doing. And Mac McClung he was just incredible. He was such a high flyer. He could really, really do it all. I mean, he is incredible, and he destroyed the dunk contest. Like there wasn't really anybody close. That was easily a win. Like there were some people like Jericho Sims did not deserve to be in the dunk contest. I don't know what he was doing. I mean, I guess he didn't really have much creativity, or like really didn't know what to do when you're going against someone that is doing a 520 or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, Mac McClung's insane. He deserved that win easily. There wasn't really any dunks that were really close, in my opinion. I think he ran away with that, and I think he saved the dunk contest because let's be honest. The dunk contest the last couple of years has not been good. You look back at 2016, you know, you got Aaron Gordon versus Zach LaVine. You got them going back and forth. And that was an incredible dunk contest. And you look back at maybe like 2018 where Aaron Gordon was going up against Derrick Jones Jr. And that was a cool dunk contest. But now, since then, the dunk contest has just kind of fallen off entirely. And Mac McClung arguably just saved the dunk contest. I mean, he really brought energy to the dunk contest that we hadn't had as NBA fans in a long time. It was beautiful. I loved it, and I hope he participates again next year to try to defend his title. Obviously, you want these superstars to try to get in there and do it. I think it'd be really cool to see someone like Ja Morant in the dunk contest, but you know, obviously you're not going to see something like that because they don't want to get injured. They're more focused on the second half of the season, whatever, right? So. And then obviously we had the All-Star game last night. All-Star game was a really good game. Really, it was like the highest scoring All-Star game of all time. Tatum had 50 plus points. Donovan Mitchell had 40. LeBron got injured during the All-Star game, which I don't know how he did that, but he sat out the rest of the second half. And Team Giannis got themselves a W, finally. I mean, LeBron has been on a 5-game win streak in the All-Star game. He'd been drafted in the perfect teams, and they went nuts tonight. They destroyed them. They won, and that was really cool to see. But the main point of this video is I think the All-Star game just needs some revisions. I think there's just some stuff that, like, I think just things need to be changed. Things need to be added. Like, looking at the All-Star game, I think there needs to be more of an incentive behind it. You look at it now, obviously they made some more adjustments to the All-Star game as before. It used to just be a dunk, pretty much its own dunk contest. I mean, it was pointless. These guys were just playing for fun, just no reason, no purpose behind it, whatever, yada, yada. Now you see these guys having a little more purpose behind it as this money's going to charity. It was revitalized for Kobe Bryant. And, you know, obviously Kobe had that Mamba mentality, that energy of I want the All-Star game to be electric and competitive. And the All-Star game the last couple games or last couple times has been pretty electric. It has been a lot of crazy stuff going on. It's been fun, but I still just think there needs to be more of an incentive behind it, because you're not seeing things, or you're not seeing defense really be played at all. It's kind of sucks, because it's like this should be the best pickup game like in the world. It's the NBA All-Stars, the best players in the best league in the world. And they're just doing shit to mess around. Like, come on now. Like, make this a fun All-Star game. Make this have a purpose. Make this be, like what I was saying, like one of the best pickup games of all time. Make this that kind of energy. And I mean, obviously it's not going to be some kind of big thing, because they're trying to stay healthy for the second half of the season, avoid injury, yada, yada. It makes sense, right? I mean, but it's just not super fun. It's not as fun as what it used to be. Like, you look back in the old days where people were actually competitive, playing to try to win in the All-Star game, and those are some of the best All-Star games. I mean, Kobe, Jordan, those people brought the energy to those games, and they were playing lockdown defense. It wasn't just, oh, let me go get a windmill dunk. Like, no, you weren't seeing that. These people were trying their hardest to try to win. And I don't know. I just wish the All-Star game would come back to that. I wish there'd be more of an incentive behind it. Maybe players get paid for winning, whatever it may be, because the NBA makes enough money. They make enough money based off of ratings, and ratings for the All-Star game are already pretty high as it is. You add in this certain thing, and you add in an incentive behind it, and maybe these guys try even harder, and maybe the ratings skyrocket even more. So I don't know. I just think the All-Star game in general could have a little more additions. I like what they did with the Rising Stars game. I liked how they had the former players pick their teams. Like, you had Darren Williams, Pau Gasol, Joakim Noah. I thought it was really cool. Jose Alvarado dominated that game, by the way. He was incredible. He won the Rising Stars MVP. Jason Tatum won the All-Star game MVP. But getting back to the Rising Stars game, I like how they did that. I like how they kind of revitalized it, because even the Rising Stars game, like, that's something that you watch, but like, unless you're like a truly full-on NBA fan and you care so much about basketball, that maybe you don't tune in to the Rising Stars game as much as you would like the All-Star game, or maybe like another competition like the dunk contest. And so the Rising Stars game, I like it a lot. I like the energy behind it. I think it's going to be really nice. I think they add a couple more things to it, just give it a little more of an incentive to play and be good. Then I think the Rising Stars game is going to be one of the best events of All-Star Weekend. I love it. I think that it was really good, but, maybe just adding a couple more things. And I like how the three-point contest is being changed up. The dunk contest is still kind of the same. That's something that I wish they would change up, is maybe something with the dunk contest. Maybe, because, Mac McClung did just say the dunk contest. Let's be honest. He was crazy. That was one of the best dunks I've ever seen in my life. He had a couple of the best dunks I've ever seen in my life. Like the one where he tapped off the backboard and still reversed it. Like, what? How do you even do that, dude? But I don't know. I just think the dunk contest needs to be changed up a little bit. Like, give these players a full, I've come back to the same word. Give these players an incentive to do it. Like, these NBA superstars, like, look at Ja Morant. Imagine Ja Morant in a dunk contest. Like, that would be insane. Ja Morant is one of the high flyers in the league. He can do a lot of crazy dunks if he really tried. Like, just imagine him in the dunk contest. Imagine someone like LeBron James in a dunk contest during his prime. Like, you just got to give a reason for these guys to participate. Michael Jordan did it back in the day. He won the dunk contest. That was an incredible dunk contest in his own right. Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, all those guys were amazing in the dunk contest. I want those kind of dunk contests to be back. And this one was really good. Hopefully it keeps going like this, but I don't know, man. If Aaron Gordon comes back next year and it'd be Mac McClung versus Aaron Gordon, that would be crazy. That would be the best dunk contest of all time. But obviously, there's a couple other events that I think should be added, like a 1v1 event. Like, come on, you can't tell me a 1v1 event wouldn't be sick, dude. Like, you have LeBron James versus Kevin Durant. Like, that would be sick. Or Giannis versus Embiid, or Giannis versus Jokic, or Jokic versus Embiid, or Luka versus Harden, or like, you just have these games that would be so cool to see, or like Steph versus Kyrie. Like, there could be so many sick games that could come out of that. And I think the NBA should look to include that. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit to try to include that in any sort of All-Star game. But just imagine that, dude. you have some of the best players in the league playing 1v1, going at it and going against each other. I just think that would be so cool. I mean, I saw a video with Spencer Dinwiddie. He was talking like, hey, I think I could compete with some of the best players in the league in a 1v1. Like, give these people a chance. Like, do something. Do a 1v1 event and let these people fight it out. There, go at it and go like a gauntlet style. And whoever wins gets some sort of cash prize or maybe gets a car or something like that. Just make it worth it for these players. And the biggest point that I'm coming back to with this is I think the NBA needs to kind of revision the All-Star game. Not necessarily revision it, as I just said, but they need to give more of an incentive behind it. Give these players more of a purpose. Because, I mean, you even looked at like people like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler wouldn't even play in the All-Star game. Like, give a reason to, make these people say, hey, I want to play. So I think just adding that kind of stuff, I think that'd be amazing for the game. I think the NBA would drastically improve off of that, or the All-Star weekend in general would drastically improve off of that. I'm excited to see if they do anything different coming up, but that's the one thing I really hope they add is a 1v1 tournament, because that would be so sick. But if you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video, man. Peace.